Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to Dementia Chats. My name is Lori LeBay, and I facilitate these magnificent sessions where the true experts get to speak. And those true experts are the people living day in and day out with a diagnosis of dementia. I decided to create these sessions because my own mom had dementia for 30 years, and she just taught me so many beautiful things, and there are so many other voices that need to be heard to teach us how to care better, how to live better. So today we are going to actually do a tribute to one of our Dementia Chat members that we lost, Susan Suchan. But before we get into that, I'm going to have everybody go ahead and introduce themselves. Lori, if you wouldn't mind starting.
Hi, I'm Laurie Scher, and in August of 2013, I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's and FTD, frontotemporal degeneration. Since then, I've made it my passion to do advocacy work however I can, trying to help people newly diagnosed to understand there is life after your diagnosis.
Great, thank you. True?
My full legal name is Truthful Loving Kindness. Current diagnosis is mild cognitive impairment because my progression is too slow to fit in any of the boxes. I have Lewy body symptoms and vascular symptoms. I blog, and I am assistant administrator for Dementia Mentors.
Great, thank you. Craig?
Hi, my name is Craig Yankee. I am Lewy body dementia. I was diagnosed in 2014. It seems like the diagnosis has slowed down, which is a good thing. I'm 59 and I'm from Tomahawk, Wisconsin.
Thank you. And Lauren?
I'm Lauren. I have Louie. I live in Northern California.
Okay, great. Well, to kick this off today, for those of you that don't know Susan, we are going to be giving you a lot of information about her brilliant soul and how she really changed and impacted the dementia movement with her insights and her humor. Her birthday is coming up December 2nd. She was born in 57 and she passed away last year, or this year, I should say, January 14th of 2018 at the age of 60. But she touched so many lives around the world, and we weren't able to gather everybody here who she's touched, needless to say. So we hope that our voices will be a good representation of the impact that she's had on all of us. She was diagnosed originally with Alzheimer's, which then was told was frontotemporal lobe dementia, and then primary progressive aphasia, which can disrupt your ability to speak. On our blog post, we're going to show you some of the videos that she was in. And even though she had trouble with her words, one of the, I think, most brilliant things that I got from her was that you not only had to pay attention to her words and her message because words weren't flowing normally, but you wanted to, because she just had such a rich, beautiful insight. And so she was just really a captivating person and just touched so many lives. And she really believed that between diagnosis and death, there was life. And she lived that, and she taught us that every single day. And so I'm going to go ahead and have Lori kick us off with some memories of Susan.
Susan was 2 days shy of being 3 months older than I was. And last year, as we were both getting close to a magic number, let's say 40 just for the heck of it. It wasn't, but we'll pretend. Her birthday was December and mine was March, and we frequently talked about how she was the old lady because she was going to hit it before I was. It was very sad, but yet happy to me that she wasn't here to rib me on my birthday, because I gave it to her pretty good on hers. So I expected I'd get it back. But Susan touched my life in so many ways. She was one of the very first people I met with dementia. I didn't know there was other people under 65 who had dementia. And then I met this crazy woman with red hair that laughed all the time, and Harry and Robert at the same time, and they changed my world. I've often written down some of the things that Susan said that really touched me. And I want to read them to you because they impact a lot of what Susan is from my perspective. Said it's important that you live in the moment. Just be who you are and where you are at this particular moment. Don't dwell on what you used to be or used to do. And talking about dementia, she said, well, my dementia is a new life and I have new passions. And this one really stuck home because this got me involved in being a dementia mentor and learning that I need to work to help other people as well. So we're all running this relay for advocacy or for fundraising. What we don't like to realize and admit is that at some point we'll have to pass on that baton. Preparing someone else to take the baton and run a good race is part of our responsibility. Every person is different, so it makes for an interesting world. That's why you need to just be yourself, be real, and do what you can do. And if you're the best that you can be, then you project your best, and that's what helps others the best. These things are just a sample of some of the things that Susan said that really inspired me to want to be so strong in advocacy. She was awesome and wonderful, and I so much respect her daughter Heather and how much work Heather did to always make sure that Susan could be part of advocacy.
Great, thank you. Her words were so succinct and so clear, when she talked, and I think, like you, they just hit home with so many. One person who I should have asked to be with us today, and I didn't even think about it until just now, was Zuzka, who actually binged on our Dementia Chat show because she was just so enlightened by the conversations that we had, and she said one of her favorite people to listen to was Susan. She was just in awe of her, and I think she said she watched like 14 or 16 hours straight of Dementia Chats, and because she just learned so much. But she just raved about what an impact she had on her. And Siska's mom had dementia, and she's written a book, but she's like, I've learned so much from watching all of you. And I think that Susan was a nurse for, I believe it was like 23 years, and she never stopped trying to help and to heal others. She always was so conscious of her words, and I think her nonverbals. And that laugh, oh my gosh, that laugh of hers was just so contagious. It was just, I could just hear it in my ears right now, because she laughed from her toes to her head, and her body shook, and you could not smile. You could not laugh when Susan laughed. She was just really an impeccable person. And Lori, even just to think, how many people do you jot notes down of what they say? That in itself says a ton of the impact that this woman had on everybody. And you mentioned her daughter, Heather, was just such a wonderful example of the love of family, of mother and daughter. I can't imagine the loss, the hole that they're feeling. But what I always say is, you can't have great loss without great love. And that is a gift. And so I always try to turn it to make myself remember the purpose of life is to me, help us recognize our great loves and the great gifts that we've had. True, how about you? What would you like to say?
Well, last night I finished a blog entry with, I didn't count them, maybe 30 links of things that where Susan has done a video or her blog entries. She had a blog also. She didn't write in it very many times, but she did have a blog. And I wrote about her a couple times, and I would like to read just a little slice of one of the things. and I had it here, but now it's gone, so you better go on to somebody else.
Craig, how about you?
Yes, when I first met her online, my first thought was, who is this crazy redhead? Because she was just always, like you said about her laugh was contagious. And then she had this kind of a dirty little giggle when she would say something kind of smart. And she always had a good one-liner for you. Very inspirational to me. I looked up to her greatly. Mary Vanosky and I were talking one night, and Mary was kind of wondering what she could do. She felt like she should do more for Susan after she passed. And we got on a conversation of her going down to the actual celebration of life, I think they called it, and doing a Zoom chat live. So we got to meet her whole family, we got to meet her daughters, and anybody could pop in anytime. It was like, I think it was like 8 hours or 6 hours. Anybody can pop in at any time and just take part of the celebration of life. And that meant a lot to me because I would have wanted to be there if I could have. So it worked out really nice for that. Just a truly heartfelt person. And like you said, you have to have a great gift to have a great loss.
Thank you. I think that was wonderful that Mary had that opportunity to go down there and then to be able to share that with everyone. No, I wasn't able to make that. And I felt so bad, but I was so excited that there was that opportunity for so many others. Lauren, how about you? I know you two were really tight.
Susan is one of the people I love best in the world. We were truly best pals, best friends. I miss her every day, every single day. Susan and I had a lot of fun together. There was a lot of laughter. But we also tackled the serious things. We just tried to do it with some humor. There's so much in my head about Susan. There's so much in my life about Susan. There's reminders of her. I have her handprint and she has mine. I miss her. I love her and I miss her, and I don't think that'll ever go away.
And most likely not. Most likely not. I have to ask you, when did you guys do your handprint, or more, why? Because what a cool thing to do.
Yeah, we had what we called our vacay. We got together and I spent time at her home. And we decided, I'm not sure exactly how it came up, there's kits out there that you can make like stepping stones to put in your garden, but we put our handprint into it, and I made my handprint and gave her my handprint, and she made her handprint and gave me hers, and we decorated them. And it's right on my desk, and just about every day I put my hand in her hand, and I have this that I carry in my pocket almost every place I go. Susan is just a huge part of my thought, of my humor. She remains in my life every single day, even though she's not physically here with me.
That whole handprint thing I think is so cool. And like you said, to be able to put your hand in hers every day. That is something that so many families and friends could do. I think that's a wonderful idea to be able to share that. And one side of me can almost see her saying, should we do face masks? I can just, see her. She was, and she will always, I think, live through so many of us that she's touched. True, were you able to find what you were looking for?
Susan had been living with PPA for almost 10 years. As her symptoms progressed, increasingly the listener needed extra patience while she found her words and got her voice to cooperate. But it was always so well worth the wait because her input was so very valuable. And Susan was just extra fun. In my own encounters with her during the past 4 years, Susan had balance. The fun moments were extra fun. And the helpful insight was no nonsense, let's not play games. What is the real situation and what can be done about it? It was a real joy knowing her. And now she's off to new adventures.
Very true. She was no nonsense, and she many times would maybe disagree with the flow of the conversation that we would have, which is one of the things that I love about Dementia Chats is being able to get all these different insights and opinions. And she would kind of recorrect the ship in her own way, just really subtle. And then everyone would kind of go, oh, I never thought of it in that light before, or, she just added so much to any conversation I know that I've ever had with her. It was just brilliant. And like you said, you had to listen closer because of her aphasia, but I listened with excitement because I always knew that there were going to be nuggets in there, or she was going to make me laugh, that there was always meaning to her words. I would literally kind of hang on her words and her insights because they were just so powerful. Mary Radofsky is not able to be with us today, but she sent me over a couple of poems that she had written. And Where the Breeze Begins. On the edge of the hill, under the old cherry tree, I sat and I watched the breeze. The feathered leaves along great oaks spread wide against the sky. It lifted songs of birds, then caught my wisp of hair. It made me ask, where did I begin? No sign, no trace. The trees had all gone still. I watched the leaves, but not a shudder. I kept my gaze and waited. Then one leaf caught the breeze, flickering off and on. A few leaves more, then thousands fluttered and shimmered in the light. It rippled trees, then brushed my cheek. I closed my eyes and breathed. I wet my lips to feel it more. A second more it stayed, and then the first leaf winked again. The breeze came down the line, around the hill, and caught me in the chin. I raised my eyes to look back from where it came, but it was gone, and all the trees were still. The sun rose and beat down hard. The air grew thick and sweet. My shade was gone. The crows flew low. Still, I waited for a time. I turned and saw the flowers and bees and dragonflies buzz by. The grass was soft. I could stay. Another breeze would come. I stretched my arms. How far they reached. Up to the dandelion, who asked me where the breeze begins. She waited all her life. I leaned in close and whispered, here, we wait no more. I wet my lips to gently blow. Seeds flew everywhere. The breeze begins with me. I said, the breeze begins with me. Any thoughts, Lori?
Very lovely, very powerful, very nice.
The breeze did begin with Susan. I mean, it begins with each and every one of us, and it's that empowerment, I think, that Susan gave us to know that we can all do more. We can all be better. We can all gift others our knowledge and our experience. And it's not about fixing anybody. It's not about changing anybody. It's about allowing them to be in their own breeze, in their own zone, and us feeling comfortable with the unknown of where is that breeze going to take us, and that individuality. I thought that was quite beautiful. Lauren, do you have any thoughts on the poem?
It's all good. I miss my friend, so all reminders of her. I just love her.
True, how about you?
Hate to say this, but I wasn't able to follow most of it.
Okay. How about you, Craig? Any comments?
I thought it was beautifully written, for one. I know Mary does have a lot of talent that showed in that poem. And that was written specifically for Susan.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really great. In fact, I'd like to get a copy of that if I could.
I'd like to put them on the blog if she's open to that. Lori, did you have another comment? I thought I saw your hand raised.
We were talking about Susan being to the point. She waited to tell me that she was dying until we were together. And she took me outside and we laughed and hugged and everything. And then she said, I have something I have to tell you. And she told me, and I of course, I start to cry. I said, no, you can't go. You can't. And she gave me a couple minutes and then she said, okay, quit the blubbering. That's enough. This is the way I want it to be. This is enough. No more. You're done. Let's talk about something else. That was it. And I said, how, pardon me, how like Susan was that, just to say, all right, you had your time and now we're moving on. She sent me a voicemail. She left me a voicemail, which to show how much Susan encouraged all of us, I listened to over and over and over again just to hear her voice and her laughter, her encouragement. Worried about me. How are you? How are you handling this? Well, really? Unfortunately, I changed to a different provider last month and it got deleted, which broke my heart. I cried again and then I thought of Susan going, that's enough. So, hearing all of us talk, Susan was not only an encouragement in her life, she continues to be an encouragement and a mentor to so many of us, even when she's not here physically.
I think that is a great point. To me, Susan is right up there with Richard Taylor, who had such a broad impact in terms of changing how people look at dementia, changing how people live with dementia, encouraging people to live fully and be their best. And through her blog, even if she didn't write in it often, through her videos that are all over, I'm hoping that the movie gets completed, the documentary of her life, because it's important. I believe that they need more funding for that. So if anybody listening to this is interested in helping with the legacy of Susan living on and helping a lot of families, that would be a great place to donate money to. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the different groups that Susan was involved in for two reasons. One, because she was there, but two, to also raise awareness of these other groups. So granted, she had a huge impact on all of us through Dementia Chats, but she was in other groups as well. Lori, can you talk about, I think she was in Dementia Mentors and Dementia Action Alliance, and I'm sure there's others. Do you mind kind of giving us a little insight there?
For Alzheimer's Association, she was what she called their poster child, where she was one of the first of the people living with dementia that went around and spoke for the Alzheimer's Association. Virtual memory cafes, dementia mentors, she was involved and came to many of the chats, and that's where we get on and have groups where we really just socialize. We talk about our symptoms, we laugh, we cry, we support each other, we talk about nothing or we talk about serious things, and she was involved with those virtual chats. That's actually how I met her, was through one of the virtual chats. She was also involved with Dementia Action Alliance as a speaker. She was on the advisory board and also on the board of directors, where she provided great insight and helped to build a program where people living with dementia had a voice and were active. And I think in all the things that I was involved with Susan on, I think that was the biggest thing, was she wanted to encourage all of us. You still have a voice. And while you do, you need to be using it for something good. And throughout all the programs she was in, I saw that frequently, that she encouraged that we use our voice. I can't think of any others right now, so I'll pass the baton. Someone else fill in.
Lauren, how about you?
She and I kind of took our relationship out of all the groups. And a lot of my time, we spent time together practically every day. So I think Lori probably knows more about what other things. I can't think of anything else that Lori didn't mention, but maybe Truth has.
Dementia Alliance International, she got involved in about 2015. Also, she was, I believe, interviewed by, who is that lady that you go by? She's got a magazine that has a big O on it.
That was Oprah. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
That was fun to connect those guys. Yeah, that was really. I got to be in on all those interviews. We Zoomed and gosh, that was a big article too. I mean, that wasn't just a little snippet. That was several pages, and her sister was interviewed, I believe, as well.
That's all the organizations that I can think of. She did a couple events, kind of more dressy events even, with that memory cafe and their families.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but did she go down to the Dementia Action Alliance first conference that they did in Atlanta? Weren't you guys all there?
Yes, and there is a video of her being on the opening panel that opened the conference. I think it's on YouTube.
Okay, great. Because I thought I remembered seeing all of you guys and Al Powers all kind of cuddled up on a couch, and you look like you're having way too much fun. So, Craig, any other thoughts from you?
I wasn't involved in any organizations that she was involved in, but anytime you talk to her, whether it be over the phone or by video chat, every time there's something about her that just uplifted you. She was a jokester. She had some pretty good one-liners, like I said, and you had to listen real close to catch it, but just a fun person to be around and to be associated with.
I agree. I want to read one other poem that Mary wrote. Fog Hang. This one is called Where Once There Was a Breeze. Now I walk on the sudden path, slip on rotten bits of leaves, and sink with every step as I try to climb the hill and find where it began. But my ember mud holds firm my shoes. I'm stuck down here on earth. You were the breeze atop that hill that carried songs, that righted wrongs. You set me aloof and shared your flights in the burning sun or darkest nights. Now there is no breeze, no song, no light, nothing on the edge of the hill, just me. And I can't see or fly or walk, and music is lost in the fog. Nothing there, no need to try, no place to go, no tears to cry, as I begin to sleep. Until a pelting rain begins, then branches start to crack and fly. They stretch my arms and whip my face. I push them off and brace myself to heave and lift my muddy shoe in one big move. In vain I stay. I try small moves, wiggle my toes, raise my foot to now walk free. But I am on another journey, not sure where to go, because I'll miss my friend who taught me where the breeze begins, to brave the thunderstorms, to accept when the sweetest breeze must end, to learn to live again. Mary's poems are just, I think, so beautiful and so gracious in embracing nature and the small sounds and movements. And I think that's one of the things that I loved so much about Susan is she too captured those small little subtle things in nature and in each one of us that I think we overlook because we're not paying close enough attention to the whole communication and the whole energy wave around us and how we're so intraconnected. Her soul essence, planted a seed in all of us, and and that doesn't die. You know, that just really lives on amongst all of us. In wrapping up here, I think it would be nice to all send a message to the family. Lori had suggested this, and I think that this is a beautiful way for us to wrap up, because as much as we have lost, their loss and their holes are even much greater than ours. So, Lori, do you have a message to lift the family?
To Heather, Nancy, and the whole family, I think I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for sharing Susan with so many of us. So I know there were times that she was probably more busy than you would have liked to have been. And even up until the very end, you kept, those of us with dementia, you kept us included on what was happening, what was going on. When possible, you helped her to send text messages or emails. And I just want to thank you for always keeping that part of her life alive. I also want to say, I know our hearts are breaking with how much we miss her frequently. We're saddened at that loss, but I know that your sadness is also extremely great. Know that you'll always be a part of our lives and our memories. That you'll always be there. When we think of Susan, we can't help but think of you and how much you supported her. So thank you.
Drew, how about you?
I'm so very glad I got to meet you guys. I don't think of Susan as gone. We had a lot of conversations about what might be after our life on Earth is ended. And I don't think of her as gone. I think of her in another place. And I'm very glad that you guys have that aspect also of the relationship.
Great. Thank you. Craig?
Like Lori said, I want to thank you for sharing your mom with us. Like, she was a great inspiration to me. I still think of her almost every day, especially when we have chats, because it's just a big hole that's missing with her not being there. And thank you for sharing the celebration of life with Mary so she could share it with us. I don't know about other people, but I spent quite a few hours just being part of the celebration of life, and it was very meaningful to me to have that closure.
Lauren?
To Heather and Nancy and Emily and all the grandkids, and Shar, thank you so much for allowing me to stay with you and for encouraging Susan to do what she needed to do and what she wanted to do, and for providing the assistance that she needed to allow her to do that. Susan and I talked about everything, and I know, because she told me time and time and again how important her family was and how much she appreciated everything that they did with her and for her. And Susan will never, as long as I am here, Susan will never, ever be forgotten. She is right here with me every single day, and I'm sure she's right there with you as well. So thank you for sharing my friend, my chica. And Susan, I love you, chica, forever and ever.
Thank you. I too want to say thank you for setting such a beautiful example of how to care. She thought so highly of her family, and she loved you all so much. And I remember her and I talking about her impending death. She wanted everyone to know that she will never be gone and that she was really at peace with leaving. She just really wanted everyone to know that she will always be with them, that as much love as we all have for her, she had for everyone. And she will forever be connected, forever. And, and then she made the comment, and you can talk to me. Even if I'm not there and people think you're crazy, talk to me. I am here. I will be there for you. And, she wants us, I think, all to feel open to her presence and her love, because none of that has diminished. That is just so Susan, always still being the nurse and caring and loving and guiding and supporting people no matter what we're going through.
I just want to add Terry. I didn't mention Terry, and Terry, I know that she was very grateful for you as well. Just wanted to put that out there for Terry.
Good. And we don't want to miss anybody because there were so many people in her life. And like I said, even through Dementia Chats and in our dementia community, there were so many people that wanted to be part of this but just couldn't. And so again, know how many people Susan has touched. And when we miss her, she just brings a smile to our face, even though there might be a tear in our heart. There's no way she can't bring a smile to your face because she just touched so many lives. So